Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man. As always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. This is going to be part 2. And I actually might have to do part 3 on this because there's so much to cover. On the video I just recently posted, and at this time I'm actually doing part 2 right after I've done one before I uploaded it. So I still don't know what the name of the title is going to be, but by the time you see this video, you see a title down there. And it's about the music industry, the things that you don't know. And the things that you would wish somebody just simply kind of push you over to the side and say, hey, dude, keep an eye on this. Watch for this. Avoid this. And I'm going to talk about this specific topic right now. And you might say, well, how's this related to the music industry? Trust me, it is. Because this is what usually happens. As we know, what is man's biggest lure? Women. You know, it's just how it is. You know, we love women. And once you become rich or even kind of popular or famous in the music industry, women gonna take notice of you even more. It's gonna be much easier for you, as they say in the 70s, to score because they know who you are. And some of us take advantage of that, and some of us go overboard with that. Now, in most cases, we all consent adults. It's like, okay, well, hey, we two grown people. We do what we want. But for you young men in the industry that's coming up, you're young, you look good, you got potential, or you've already just about kind of made it, be careful of that because this is what's going to happen. And there are, unfortunately, and this is not trashing the women because I'm like, if the men on top of their game, they ain't got to worry about this. There are women that would deliberately hook up with you because they know you're a celebrity and try to have your child. Now you say, why they want to do that? Money. That's a meal ticket for 19 years at least, that they can acquire. And this is not again trashing women, and most women don't think this way or act this way, but there are some that do. So please don't take this as I'm bashing the women, because I'm not, because again, it takes two to tango. The man can simply say thank you, but no thank you. And what most of us don't think about, because at this specific time in our life, this is not affecting me. I'm not a part of this, but at some point in time, you're going to most likely, some of you going to end up in this situation. You go out there now, you're just real promiscuous because the women just throwing it at you. It's like, oh yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, come on, thank you. 1 or 2 have a baby. Now, and in most cases, this was never a relationship from the beginning, just having good sexual time. And it resulted in having a baby. And now you're going to be taking the child support. Now, from what I heard, because I've known people, close people and family members that have experienced this divorce thing, child support thing. And I'm so fortunate that I never had to deal with that. Because I've always, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't want to have kids all over the place with women that I'm not in love with and want to marry or married. I got one child, and she bears my last name, and me and her mom were married when she was born, long before she came around. So you go. Now here's the child support thing, and when you making $1 million, they take a large sum out. Everybody's scale is different. It's based on, I think, 20% of your salary. So if you're making $1 million, it's 20% of that million. If you're making $14,000 a year, it's 20% of that $14,000. And now you're forced to pay support for a child that most likely is not even in your life. And sometimes that's unfortunately the man's decision. I don't want to be bothered with that baby. But in most cases, the women are angry at you, and this is their way of getting back at you. Because child support in most cases, for most women, and not all, it's about getting back and getting revenge. You ain't got shit to do with taking care of your son. It's about control and making you do something that some guys don't want to do, and they won. They got you, And it's so sad that it's about that more so than, I just want him to kick in his share financially and emotionally to raise our child. That's what it's supposed to be about. And it's interesting because a lot of people that are not expecting this, they don't think like this. And what happens is you go to court, or you with or without you, court is done, and they decided, you're supposed to pay X amount of money, and then you get a shock when you get your check and 20% of it is missing. It's going to be missing for the next 18, 19 years, and you pissed off. And most of us would think, because I would think like that. If I was in that situation, this is what I think. I'm like, damn, nah, they took $600 out of my monthly paycheck. So I got to help compensate that, because it's not like I had 600 extra dollars. The majority of that money was going towards bills that I have. So what I'm going to have to do is probably find a side hustle to recoup that money back into my budget, because I can't have that kind of money out of the budget without, kind of suffering at a loss, and not going to fall behind on my own bills. And this is what they do. And I didn't know this until somebody told me. You do that. Okay, you go get a little side job. And unless the side job is a job that's being paid under the table, and, taxes are being taken out of it, and they got Social Security number, child support people find out or realize that you making some money over here, so they get 20% of that money. It's like, what the fuck? So in essence, you never recover. You never catch up. Like one of my dearest friends, he said, you just got to kind of sit it out and wait until it's over, because ain't nothing you could do. You can't stop it. And if you stop it, you go to jail. It's like, well, you don't want to go to jail. But those are the things that being a musician or being in the public eye, you got to think about. It's much easier, again, quote unquote, to score, because everybody knows who you are. And a lot of the women want to get with you, and you are blindsided by all this notoriety, as opposed to being cautious and being careful. And I took this entire video just to discuss that, because again, most people didn't realize, how do those two tie in? That's how they tie in. That's how they tie in. And this could be almost a lifetime battle, because most likely you're going to die before your child. And if you're any kind of decent man, which most of you guys are, that you do want to spend time and be a part of that child's life, even though you're no longer with the mother. But you do want to be a part of that child's life. And again, in some cases, not all, it's about revenge. And it's very difficult to get custody rights to your children when you're a man. I've been to some of those court hearings with very close friends of mine, like brothers, and I've watched these men cry, because the judicial system is so lopsided. Instead of being 50-50, it's like maybe 70-30. The woman gets 70% of the rights, and she can do what she wants, and you get 30%. And that's so unfair, because you equally laid there and made the baby. But when the baby comes out, you're not going to be equally involved in that child's life, unless you have a very fair-minded, kind woman that just want to do the right thing. It's like, okay, I don't have a problem with that, because that's your child too. You got just as much as rights as I do to the upbringing and the overseeing and the development of this child. I just want you to financially be there and emotionally, But in most cases, when it's ending in divorce, or you're no longer with these people, it's not going to be that smooth. It's not going to be that smooth at all. So be careful out there, young up-and-coming artists. Don't just lay with everybody that want to lay with you, because the majority of them want to lay with you for the wrong reason in the first place. Because I'm going to share this story, and then I'm going to sign off. Because again, I'm going to do parts to this, because this is so, wide, that I don't want to really miss a lot of stuff that can really make an impact on your life. You watching this video, you 18 and you're an aspiring musician. It's like, I watched that video that Morris Mann did years ago. Then when I made it in the business, and he was right, all these women throwing panties at me and throwing their stuff at me, and how do I react? Do I just take them all and then start having babies all over the place and then being stuck with child support for 20 years? Or do I take his advice and say, No thanks. So let's slow it down. Let's get to know each other. And if this is meant to be as far as a rock solid relationship, I'm all for it. But if it's just a one night stand or just somebody, whatever, and if you still want to do it, two concerning adults, make sure that what doesn't come out of this one night, a baby that nobody expected, or now you got to make room for a child in your life. So that is the purpose of this video, is to forewarn you guys, because I was fortunate enough to be forewarned, and I was young and smart enough to listen and take heed. And still 3 years later I got 3 kids that I don't even see, but I'm paying for them. But I remember when I first started my music career, and I still consider myself kind of a quiet, laid back kind of guy. I'm not real outgoing and all that. So I went to, and I'll name the name, the nightclub back in the 80s. It was called the Copper Box on the south side of Chicago, and I lived in Chicago, Illinois. And my band, we came in to do sound check before we came back to really start to do the show. So they was kind of letting some people in at that time kind of early. And there was this lady that was there. She was looking really nice. She stayed with her 2 friends. And I said, man, I got to talk to her. So I walked up to her, introduced myself, and talking, and she kind of said in so many terms, so many words, thank you, but no thank you. And I'm respectful of that. I'm like, if this is not what you want to do, I'll back up. And still now I'm mad because you turned me down. You went from beauty to bitch in 2 seconds. Like, no, that ain't the kind of dude I am. Wasn't raised like that. So I backed off. So went back to the band. Then that night, and I'm really no singer, but at that time I could handle certain songs. So I'm like, I know my range and I know what I can do, and I definitely know what I can do. So I sang LTD, Jeffrey Osborne, LTD, what's the name of that song? Love Ballad. And I did a good job because I was singing like my life depended on, like, if you don't do well, we're going to kill you. I'm singing, I'm moving. And the women was going. And then after the show was over, the same woman turned me off, turned me down early part of this, of the night. Came up to me, gave me her number. She said, we got to hook up tonight. I said, aren't you the same woman that shot me down several hours ago? Didn't want to be interested, didn't want to be bothered. No, thank you, I pass. That's what I did. Because again, it wasn't about me, it was about who I was, what I was doing. And that doesn't work for me. Now, most of the guys like, I don't give a shit how I get here, just as long as I get here. I'll take your number, even though you turned me down early. Just wasn't me, It's like once you kind of killed that vibe, it's dead. We can't revive it, Can't bring back to life. But again, I'm going to do segments of this, parts of this. And this was just about this topic. And it's very important that you take in this because, again, this could be the difference between having a normal life without any extra added unnecessary stress versus for 20 years you paying for somebody or a little individual that you can't even go see. You don't even have custodial rights to visit, and you only can visit under the terms of the angry divorced mother or angry ex-girlfriend, and you won't be treated well in that situation, because the way, again, the system is set up legally, they got more pull than you do on your child. And again, it shouldn't be that way. It should be a 50-50 partnership. Because again, you equally made them. So now when the baby comes out, you can't equally take care of them and spend time. And it's usually done because of anger. And I'm going to say about the mention this. I took my wife to, I guess it was an OB appointment years ago. And of course, it was the majority number of women there. So I sat in there reading my magazine. And this woman that was sitting next to me and the woman sitting next to her, they were talking. It's like, yeah, I'm going to take that the child support. And the way she said it and the things she said after that, it had nothing to do with, I just want him to be responsible. It was about, he either left me for, I think she even mentioned that. He left for another woman. Or maybe, I don't, I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not going to state that as fact, but it was something along the lines that their relationship, when it broke up, is what caused her to go into revenge mode. When it's so unfortunate because the child has nothing to do with the issues the two of you are having. So why hurt the child? Because that's another thing I didn't mention. That hurts your children when they don't have full access or equal access to each other, to their mother, to their father. You know, it has a big impact on your life, on their life. And unfortunately, there's some women that don't care about that, would override that, and nothing should ever override that. It's like, I can't stand you now, but I tolerate you for my child because I don't want to see our child witnessing this mess, this nonsense. But unfortunately for some women, and again, this is not a bashing the women video, but it's the truth that their anger and hostility and revenge overrides the overall well-being of their child, you know? And it's just sad because who ends up getting hurt the most is the children, you know? So think about that. I'm going to sign off now, but like I said, I thought it was really important to touch on that within the music industry because, you know, when you look at them, you say, well, how these two are together? This is how. This is how these two worlds collide or come together. So we just want to make sure that you're prepared to not have all these unwanted pregnancies and children scattered all over the place without their daddy. And for the next 18, 19, 20 some years, depending on if you're lucky enough to have consistent employment, because sometimes we might lose our job, you know, and that doesn't stop. Child support don't stop when you get fired. It just it's like a meat on a cab. It's still going. It's like, oh, you know, and when you get your job back, not only you're responsible, or another job, you're not only responsible for resuming, you're responsible for the back, the rear. So now you got to pay almost twice as much. You know, and that's no fault of your own because nobody anticipates losing their job. You know, so again, think about this before you get put in, or you put yourself or help put yourself in that situation. Think about that. Is this somebody that I think that wants to be with me legitimately? Are we going to take our time and build a relationship, then get married, then have our children, not have our children, and then think about getting married, you know? But I want to sign off now. Till next time, take care. And I hope this has been helpful to the young people out there that's getting started in life. And I'm trying to give you kind of a foresight on what could happen. And it's not necessarily that this have to happen. It don't have to happen. But it's a possibility if you're not aware of what you're doing and getting caught up in that. Because getting caught up in that is like a 19, 20-year thing. You know, that's just from the financial aspect of taking the child support. But then even after that's over, you still want to financially and emotionally support your child. So that's really a lifetime commitment. You know, just because my daughter is 21, that don't mean that she doesn't need my help anymore, you know. But just be mindful of that. You know, it's like being able to foresee the future. You can change it if you don't like that future. Take care.